What is it about a movie that draws in an audience? What helps you connect with the story and its characters? What bonds you to that reality and brings you to that world? I call it the human spirit. It's the different various emotions that you feel when watching a scene. It's the goosebumps that cover you when you're inspired. It's the sense of reality and relatable feelings that enhance your movie experience. My name is Saenz and I have a dream of becoming a film producer. Part of this dream is understanding what makes movies inspiring and entertaining that an audience member can truly connect with. And that's why I discovered the human spirit. With the help of 4 very ambitious filmmakers and admirers with credible jobs in the film and video industry, I motivated myself to clearly understand what I know to be as the human spirit.
My name is Allison Unger.
Alan LaFave.
April Bennett.
Bob Burnett.
These are the professionals that help me understand the human spirit, and they take their jobs very seriously.
I'm a production assistant here at AMS Pictures.
Director of photography.
Manager of original entertainment.
TV broadcast instructor at Frisco High School.
I started with a very simple question. What's their favorite movie? Because filmmakers should have one, right?
I like all kinds of movies, everything from historical pieces like Kingdom of Heaven, Ridley Scott type films. I'm probably more drama oriented than I am anything else.
One of my favorite movies is French Kiss. I love the 2 actors in it, Meg Ryan and Kevin Kline. It's a really cute film. It's a romantic comedy. It's actually an older comedy. It's just cute. It's it's mindless. And it's cute, and I enjoy it, and could probably quote the whole thing now, so.
I'd have to say my favorite movie is Pride and Prejudice. I know it's kind of weird, but it's one of those movies that I never get tired of watching. I can always watch it, and I think a lot of that has to do with just that it's like a great piece of literature, just kind of brought to life, and it's very well made.
My favorite movie is To Kill a Mockingbird from 1962 because it seemed to capture the mood of the time, and I got involved with the characters, which I think is really important in a movie.
I would venture to think that very few filmmakers could actually say what my favorite movie is unless they say their own movie that they've made, because you're always marketing.
When they go to watch a movie, they aren't focused on just being entertained like most people are. They're looking for details. Some look for details in plot.
Well, I look for storytelling is a big thing because that's what I have to work with a lot with my job is we do a lot of rewriting of scripts and things like that. And so story for me is extremely important.
I think most when I watch movies, I'm really drawn to very high character development when the characters are really well developed and we know, what motivates the character, what's behind them. I think it just keeps us engaged to the movie because if we don't care about the characters, why am I going to watch the whole movie?
If the acting is bad, I'm going to sit and analyze it the entire time.
Others concentrate on the more technical aspects of a movie.
Well, of course, being a director of photography, the first thing I look for is how well the film is shot.
When I watch a movie, I want to enjoy it. I don't want to bounce around with a camera that's moving all around.
The way the movie opens, the tone it sets, the quality of the photography, the way it's edited, am I captured? Is my attention captured right off the bat?
Is it more important to be inspired or entertained? Or can you be both?
I think first and foremost, we need, as an audience, to be entertained.
Inspiration and entertainment are 2 different things. So if I'm going to a movie, I've chosen to go to that movie because I want to be entertained or I want to be educated or inspired or whatever.
I think when I go to a movie, more importantly, it would be entertained. Just because, when I go to a movie, I go to get away from it all. It's nice to sit in that dark room and just get engrossed into a film and just be a part of those characters' lives for an hour and a half to 3 hours. What is an added extra is to be inspired.
In the end, it has to be inspired. It kind of leaves a lasting impact on me rather than just kind of being entertained.
Movies create their own world that the filmmakers want you, as an audience member, to be a part of.
I like watching a movie that's just very engaging and I kind of forget I'm watching a movie. It kind of takes me out of my own world and just puts me into the journey that these characters are going on.
The audience wants to get away from it all. A lot of times people go to the movies to get away from it all and to be inspired or be entertained or relate to the film in a way.
To kind of get out of the regular routine of life and just go get entertained by a movie.
Emotion plays a key role in holding your attention as an audience member. It's what connects you to the characters and their stories.
I think emotion's a really huge factor, I think, of kind of driving the point home of, kind of the message of the movie. I think, whether it's happiness, sadness, anger, those are all emotions that every human being can relate to, no matter what stage of life you're in. So I think it's a great tool for directors to really relate with their audience.
No matter what your genre is, I think emotion is a key component to engaging and connecting with your audience.
Laughing throws out endorphins and it gets you happy and it makes you happy for that 30 seconds that you were laughing and that sort of thing. The dramas, there are times when I go out and I want to see a really good drama and when maybe I've been needing to cry forever and I haven't cried, so I go and pop in the Notebook and bawl my eyes out, that sort of thing.
I think directors use emotion as kind of a tool in the movie to kind of tell us kind of what's coming next. When someone gets really mad, we know that he's about to do something stupid or something bad's going to happen. Or if someone gets really happy, they're doing really good in their life, we know something bad's going to happen next, because that just makes for an interesting movie, and that's kind of how things work in life.
People have gotten involved with movies that deal with soap opera type stories, love stories like Gone with the Wind, or more recent movies, more recent films. Emotion is a big part of getting the audience connected again to the film, to the story.
It better be engaging us emotionally, again, really pretty quickly, or else, they're going to tune out. And
there's nothing wrong with using emotion, as long as it's real.
What's the importance of connecting a film to its audience anyway?
Connecting the film to the audience should be paramount for any filmmaker.
Well, if you don't connect to the audience, then you're not being a successful filmmaker. You have to connect to the audience. I mentioned To Kill a Mockingbird. In 1962, I was 7 years old, and I saw that movie. And I could connect with the kids that were in that movie because they were children about the same age as I was, and I felt a connection to their story.
I think without that element, the movie's kind of pointless, because to me, movies, or at least the ones worth watching, have some message that they're trying to get across, that the filmmaker was trying to teach a lesson or something, and I think if the audience doesn't get that point, the movie was kind of pointless.
Just trying to be realistic a lot of times. When you go too far with certain things, they don't work.
They're really more engaged in the movie when they can feel something or they can take something away from the movie, and I think that leaves more of a lasting impression on them after.
If you can get the audience to care about the characters, then you've put together a successful film.
What is a movie without the music or score in the background? It might get a little boring.
Because I think music kind of tells the audience members how they're supposed to feel throughout a certain point in the movie.
If you have just the right music in a drama that's going slow or whatever, and then you have a person crying on screen, it's amazing how it brings it all together.
But I think those films that have an original score, it really just kind of ties the whole movie together into this, this one piece that really just kind of flows throughout the whole movie.
Without the right audio, starting with the score, the scene can have a completely different attitude, a different vibe to it, a completely different feel. The exact same scene with or without the score. As soon as the score goes in, you go, wow, now it works.
In order to fully understand the human spirit in relation to successful films, I showed the professionals examples of scenes that really engage the audience. No scene does that better with action and suspense than Indiana Jones.
I think the original Indiana Jones is a terrific example of connecting with the audience very quickly.
This particular scene was just total intense.
The whole scene, he does a great job of just keeping us really engaged and really, waiting to see what happens next.
Steven Spielberg did a marvelous job creating what is kind of a superhero.
The audience had no choice but to get involved in it. If you noticed, the cuts were quick, the edits were a fast tempo, the music came up to a crescendo. The whole thing was meant to build tension within the audience, and it works.
It has actually, if you look at the sequence, there are the three parts that you need to tell a full story. It could be a short film because it's got a beginning, middle, and end.
The whole thing, we're kind of on the edge of our seat seeing a film make it out of there alive or not.
The connection, I think, is immediately made. The audience is not unhappy at this point. They're entertained, they're getting to know who the character is, and they're just starting to get into the story.
A drama will always have a scene that an audience member can connect to. We Bought a Zoo does that expertly.
I mean, it's definitely sadness for sure, but I think everyone can kind of relate to that, whether, everyone's either lost either a parent, a friend, a family member, somebody. We can all relate in that scene, and so I think it really kind of stirs up those feelings.
I would say the director's intended purpose for this scene, I think from looking at kind of context clues and things like that, this looks like a moment, a breakthrough moment for him. What I took from it was the music and how it built. And built to the moment when they did a close-up of the tear rolling down his face.
I think definitely the visuals of all the pictures they were showing, and then definitely with the music in the background, I think it just kind of tied in a really nice scene.
How the director uses this to connect to the audience is he used realistic moments. Like, for instance, I actually kind of laughed at one of the pictures where Matt Damon he's sitting on a table and he's doing this and his wife's in the background doing that, and I kind of thought that was funny because that looked like a type of picture that I would have. And then the other moment where they're picnicking, that's a very realistic thing that most people will do. The pictures looked extremely realistic. They didn't look like they were staged, because a lot of times you find movies when they do pictures like that, they look like they staged them.
I Am Legend connects its audience with a different kind of emotion, using mankind's best friend.
We can watch scenes in movies where there's violence all the time. Death and killing and, gunshots, and somehow we're not nearly as bothered by that until you see a dog, because dogs inherently are innocent.
This film did something a little differently where it had no music until the very, very end, and all you heard were the noises from the dog. And that's, when I hear those little noises like that, it just makes me so sad, because he's about to lose his friend, and that was his one and only friend in such a lonely world.
And it's a great scene for an actor, because it's not just about him having to kill a diseased dog, it's his dog. And it's his last real connection to anything that was ever in the past for him.
I think especially with this film, he has a lot of those little moments because the guy is so lonely, but the guy is also like a badass throughout the film too. And so he's giving you a moment to really feel the drama of the film.
It's sort of the point in the movie where all hope is lost.
There's probably a lot of different purposes for the scene. There was probably a lot of deep meaning to it. I mean, there's the companionship, the being lonely, the living, for your best friend.
So anybody who's ever owned a pet certainly can relate. But even if you don't, I think most people should be able to relate to, a man having to kill the last thing he loves.
The human spirit is one of the most important aspects of a film. These professionals confirmed this, and I was proud to learn from their knowledge and experience. Engaging an audience emotionally and reeling them in for their full story is what creates the best movie moments. When you can feel the goosebumps or reflect upon your own life during or after the movie, you know you have been touched by the movie magic. To create this bond with movies is what I dream of doing with my future. The human spirit is a tool for me to do that, and I'll always keep that in mind as I work towards my future and my dream of becoming a movie producer.